Welcome back to the floor here at GeoWeek 2023 in Denver. I'm joined by Adam Fingret, CEO of Extreme Measures based in Canada. We're going to talk about some of the stuff they're doing today that might be a little bit out of the ordinary. So, Adam, if you wouldn't mind telling me, what is your primary business and what proportion of that sort of represents your scanning work?
Right. So we've been in the as-built game for since 1996, so it's been a while, and we've come up through several technologies. These days, we're scanning most of our work, and we're servicing primarily a real estate sector and then AEC. So probably about 75% for real estate, 25% for AEC represents our basic sort of work balance in terms of our clientele.
Got it. And so for your real estate customers, because I think here most people are maybe more familiar with the AEC use cases, what sort of use cases are you driving with your scanning efforts on the real estate side?
Right. So it's usually there's some sort of transactional element going on in the background. So a building owner or manager, they're either buying buildings, they're selling buildings, or they're leasing buildings. In all of these cases, we need sort of accurate leasing figures. We need accurate data on how big these assets are, because all of the metrics around it are based on square footage counts. And so if they don't have accurate square footage, they don't really have an accurate deal. And so that sort of makes the scanning a natural fit for it. We can quickly get through buildings and quickly draft them up in our office, produce area analysis figures that are pertinent to these sort of transactions, and those all go out the door in a systematized way to the clients and as sort of a holistic product that they can go and buy and say, we're buying this package. We get all the deliverables that we need to transact space, and also there's the extra marketing aspect that is good with floor plans. I mean, you need some way to represent your space to other people.
Totally. Yeah. So something that we were talking about earlier is how busy you guys are able to keep your scanners. Can you talk a little bit about, the structure of how you go out and collect your data?
Right. So, I mean, we've been doing it. We've gone through different methodologies over the years, and as the technology's grown, obviously, started out in the field in 1996 with distos and pads of paper like everybody else. Then we started bringing computers out in the field and doing our drafting out in the field. Then the first terrestrial scanners came along. We started using those for more complex projects where geometry was hard to capture by hand. Now with VLX, we can race through, different floor plates, different sizes of buildings, obviously, different complexities, really without worrying too much about what our strategy going to site is. In most cases, the VLX will handle most circumstances. And so we've had a lot of success with that. And we've quickly sort of ramped up our it's not a department per se, but our VLXs, we now have 4 of them in operation every day, 5 hours a day. Each day those scanners are running and producing somewhere around 1 to 1.5 million square feet of as-built capture per week.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that definitely does. That's great. So you're talking about going out and capturing data, and obviously you mentioned you're turning over floor plans and your area analysis. Is there anything else that you're capturing out there that your customers are finding valuable?
Well, I mean, sort of as an aside, there's this sort of virtual tour aspect of it. So the Ivion platform is great at delivering up what seems like a sort of standard virtual tour, but is actually quite a lot more. We use those tours for production of our actual deliverables, of our CAD and BIM models, but the clients are finding value in using those tours to communicate what the spaces are like, and especially in the sort of post-pandemic, if in fact we are post-pandemic. But wherever we are right now, I think there's an increasing need and understanding that you need sort of remote access to locations and to be able to understand, I think for real estate and AEC, and to nobody's fault, you do have a lot of people sort of in proverbial ivory towers who never get to site. They never see the asset that they're dealing with. They never see something. It doesn't mean that they don't need or want information. They can't just travel across the country or whatever to go look at a specific tenant suite or unit or issue or whatever it is. So It makes a lot of sense to have remote visibility on that. That's something that the Ivion platform is providing for us internally, and we're slowly starting to sort of monetize that and make a small business out of that alone.
Very cool. So monetizing Ivion is obviously something that some people are struggling with. If you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about sort of, you're visiting the site once, and is that enhancing what you're providing via that single visit? Is there value in just showing up once, collecting all sorts of data and being able to say, here you go, I'm gone?
So, I mean, I think increasingly of the opinion that there really is no one site visit, not because the technology isn't capable of it, but because the buildings are changing. So especially in real estate where you've got leases turning over on a regular basis, you've got maybe new owners and new construction mandates, renovations, retrofits of all variety coming into play. You know, as-built, as-built it is a moment in time, but really to maintain as-built, it's over a long stretch of time. And so you do need to keep returning. You do need to sort of have that sort of reacquisition of space and a modernization of whatever plans or models you're producing.
That makes sense. Yeah, I studied GIS. We'd always used to say, as soon as you publish the map, it's out of date.
Exactly. I
think
there's some truth in it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think we've got some exciting stuff coming into the software pipeline for you that's going to make your life of keeping everything up to date even easier and make the value of what we can provide even better for your customers. So
can I have it now?
Very soon. Well, so let me sign something in the back.
Okay.
We can provide something for you.
Let me know.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you very much for the interview. We really appreciate it. Very exciting what you guys are doing. It's amazing how you guys have been able to keep so many VLXs so busy for so long. It's really awesome. So thank you again.
Great. Thank you very much.